A big thanks goes out to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video. All right, Brian and I actually made a decision of a place to go. So the weather has changed again, so now it's sunny, or sunnier. But we've decided to start to drive more towards the east coast. So we're heading to a little waterfall called Stocking Creek Falls, which I've done a video of quite a few years ago now. And actually I had really good conditions back then. Don't think we're going to get the same conditions today, but it's a new area for Brian, and as I said, I haven't been here for quite some time. So we'll see if we can get some shots here. Well, that's a bit of a shame. So there's no access to the waterfall anymore. There's I don't know if you can see this. There is a staircase that was always here, but you can kind of skirt around it. But it looks like they've put a lot of netting there and plants to try and rejuvenate the landscape around there, because it was looking quite worn, I guess, from photographers going down there. So I guess we won't be going down there today, which is a shame. Oh, Brian, it's like Brian's found a spot down here. I don't know if he can access it from down there. Okay, there looks like there is another way, but it's a bit trickier to get to. Have to come down the hill from the waterfall and then walk upstream. There was a section right here that I wanted to photograph, but it looks like all the logs that used to be below the falls have all swept down, and they've kind of ruined this section now. There's some really nice potholes and such, but I think that, well, even with this amount of water, it probably wouldn't look that great anyway, but it's probably going to be a while before those logs are gone. But the light's looking really great right now. See all the backlit greenery, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. All right, I did find a way down without causing any kind of erosion. So the staircase is right here, and you can see where people have come down the side here. If you do come here, don't go there. Just go down the trail further, and there's a trail that goes down to the river, and then you can hike back up on the side of the river, so you're not creating all kinds of problems and erosion. Now, to be honest, I'm having a bit of a hard time finding the composition here. Shooting it straight on doesn't seem very creative to me. So what I'm going to try and do, there's some nice logs over to the side here. I'm going to see if I could get over there, maybe get a wide angle lens in there. I'm not sure if it'll work. Part of the problem is there's a lot of foliage around the side here, like shrubs and such, and it looks like it might be quite deep down there, so have to see how it goes. It'd be nice to just shoot it from a slight angle. The other thing is I'd like to try and, you notice how there's white sky up here? It'd be nice if I could get it from the side, so I'm shooting kind of into the woodlands above, so we have a nice background rather than just white sky. I think last time I was here I had some really great light. I had a lot of mists and fog above here, which was really nice, and of course it was backlit, but of course we don't have that this time, so we're going to have to try and be a bit more creative. So let's go over there and see if we can find anything over there. Oh, the things we do for photography. This is really awkward. So I do have the log in the foreground, but the problem I'm facing, as you can see, is that we have a lot of sticks. I thought they were kind of further to the left than they are, so there's quite an obstructed view if I raise my camera up. So what I've decided to do is I've got the 20mm on, and I'm getting as close to this log as I can. It's a half decent foreground actually, and then the waterfall is in the top of the frame, so there's not much above it, because what's happening is getting a lot of these these branches in the way. So by getting down low, I'm able to eliminate most of them. I'll probably have to do a bit of cloning. But yeah, actually it's not a bad angle. Now I am using a polarizer because there is quite a bit of glare, especially on the log. The only problem is it's slowing the shutter speed down quite a bit, so I might have to take an extra shot for the waterfall, because right now I'm at f16, ISO 400 at about one second or so. Ideally I'd like a slightly faster shutter speed. I guess I could go up to ISO 800, I guess. It's not a bad angle, I quite like it. I almost I almost filled my boots up. I was about that close to the top as I was coming around the corner here. Brian's in there now. See him right there, hogging my photograph. To be honest, I mean that was about the only angle that I could find that looked half decent. On the other side there are logs. I could go and check those out, I guess, right here, right there. But maybe I'll go and check those out. But yeah, that was a pretty good spot. The twigs that were in the way, I was able to bend them out of the way, so I got some vertical shots without them hanging in the top there, so I'm quite happy about that. So I was able to include more of the bottom of this washed up stump. One of the hardest things I find about coming to areas that are very familiar, or, you know, areas that you've been to over and over again, is finding new and fresh ways to see these areas. Now the last time I was here, I guess it was about 5 or 6 years ago. It was one of my earlier videos. Had really nice light that day, but in terms of composition, there used to be a couple of logs in the way of the waterfall. So trying to integrate those with the waterfall was quite hard. Since then, the logs have moved, and actually they're sitting just in front of me here. So they're kind of out of the way, but there isn't a lot of interest other than just the waterfall. So I found that one composition that I really quite like. Now I've backed off and I'm trying to find other elements in the foreground that add a bit of interest. And when I say foreground doesn't have to be right at the bottom of the frame. It could be to one side as well. So in this case, I found this really nice big leaf maple, mossy trunk. And I think that acts as a really nice anchor. There's some ferns in there. And then the logs that used to be at the bottom of the waterfall are now to one side. So they kind of balance out the tree that's on the left. I quite like it. Now I'm making it into a pano. I might try some 4x3 as well. We'll see how it goes. The problem with 4x3 is I start to include quite a bit of the sky, which I don't know, it doesn't really add anything. It's quite bright. But yeah, it's kind of I quite like this composition. I think the only thing that I don't like is Brian's in the way. Might have to clone him out. Brian tends to take quite a long time logging. Thank you once again to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video. Are you ready to take your online presence to the next level? Meet Design Intelligence by Squarespace, a fusion of world-class design and AI technology that unlocks your creative potential like never before. Build a stunning, personalized website that's as unique as you are and stands out from the crowd. With Squarespace Payments, managing transactions is easier than ever. Get started in just a few clicks and let your customers pay their way, whether it's Apple Pay, Afterpay, or more. Need to invoice clients? Squarespace has you covered. Simplify your workflow and focus on growing your business. If you're interested in building an awesome website, why not head on over to squarespace.com and give it a try. And if you like what you find, use the code AdamGibbs for 10% off your first purchase. I thought that was the end of the day at Stocking Creek Falls, but we decided to come down to the coast because Brian's got a couple of hours before he catches the ferry. We've come out to Duke Point, which is where one of the BC ferries leaves. And I have been here before many years ago, but there's some really cool taphany rock formations here in the caves, and the tide's out right now, so you can access them very easily. But as you can see behind me here, just amazing rock patterns in the ceiling here. There is a hole over there. If I crawled through there, there's another cave opening with even more rock patterns, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to crawl through that. I might not be able to get back. Plus, there's quite a bit of light on that side. This side is in the shade, so the light is a bit more even. But yeah, beautiful. Once again, thank you ever so much, everybody, for following along this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to photograph this area or any other area that I've covered in my YouTube videos over the years on Vancouver Island, I've now put together a photography guide. The guide is on rexby.com. There is a fee involved, but once you pay your fee, then any future updates will be included in the guide. Basically what it is there's a map of Vancouver Island with lots of pins, and you just click on the pin and that'll show you the location. It'll have some example photographs. It'll even tell you how to get there. Currently I have 51 areas covered, so that should keep you busy for quite some time. But as I said, these will continue to be updated as we go along. So go check it out, rexby.com.